Alright, this is Vincent again, and today's session is going to be on a subject that most people enjoy participating in, taking advantage of, and just, it's the wow effect of going to the bank and cashing a check for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 $1,000 after 30, 60, 90 days of hard work. Back in the heyday, and I'll use that term, because we're talking 2003 to 2006, when I was actually, and it wasn't just me, myself and about 7 other people that were producing wealth through finding boarded up houses, buying them for $100,000. This was back in 2003. We were buying boarded up houses, brick bungalows, for about $100,000, putting about $70,000 into it to bring it up to the wow effect expectation, and selling it for $210, $240, $260 per house. That was back then. We were doing 2 or 3 a month. That was the average. I've even experienced where I was driving in the last nail, actually hammering it in. Someone drove by and said, "Hey, is that house for sale?" I said, "Yeah. I want to buy it." I went to my car, pulled out a contract, filled out the contract, told them, "Hey, the house is not on the market yet, but since you want it, I'll give it to you for $239. If I put it on the market, I'm going to sell it for $3 something. But today only, you can get it for $239, and if you got great credit, I can probably get you 100% financing if you got a 660 FICO score." This was back in 2003. Unfortunately, those days are over. But rehabbing and producing wealth hasn't changed. The principles are the same. It's just the dollar amount has changed, and the market of people you're going to be dealing with have changed. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of real estate gurus that'll tell you a lot of fluff, a lot of sell you a bunch of books and tapes, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with books and tapes. My only problem is that if you don't have a mentor in the area you want to do business in, you have a 50% chance of failing. I'm just giving you my 30 years experience, that's all. You can watch all these programs on TV. A lot of them are truthful. A lot of them are showing people that haven't flipped a house in 10 years. But they're doing it. My reality is, I'm local. If I become your mentor, which I'm sure if you're listening to this tape, you've already hired me, then I'm going to show you what's happening here in Cook County. I have no intention of moving anywhere else. Here is where I want to farm my business at. Therefore, let's get into what actually is going to happen if you decide to rehab a house. I have a lot of pictures, information, tapes and books on the whole subject, and you don't have 5 years to read all this stuff, because I'm assuming you're either working a job that you want to get away from, or you want to do something part-time so you can eventually say goodbye to your boss and start making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month. We're not talking this $1 million pipe dream crap that some people throw at you. It's a pipe dream. It ain't gonna happen. It'll happen in time. It ain't gonna happen in 90 days. I'm just being realistic. I'm not going to flash a bunch of houses and cars and airplanes and houses, that all kind of stuff that people have, and I ain't got time for all that. What I will show you is, if we sit down, I will show you what I've done, and I will show you some of the checks I've cashed. And I think that's credibility enough. But I'm not going to flash all this stuff on some video so everybody can get excited, because you don't know where I got it from. You don't know when I did it. You don't even know if it's real. So, when we sit down, I will show you the nuts and bolts of how it's done and what's actually going to happen. But let's look at the rehabbing side of this whole thing. There are 2 ways you can do this deal. You can do it yourself or hire someone. At the same token, there's pros and cons to the whole process. You can save money on labor by doing it yourself, but the downside is that if you don't have the capacity to pull permits for electrical, plumbing, mechanical, if you're not an architect, in order to draw the necessity for the porches you may need on the front and the back, then you're going to run into some problems if you try to do it without the permits and the city drives by and shuts you down. That's the downside. Same token, you're looking at, don't quit your day job, keep it, Because if you decide to use what I call financing to do your first project, you're going to need a decent credit. Even if you use hard money lenders, they're going to want a decent credit. You're going to need some money to put down on. You're going to have some skin in the game. They're not going to do 100%. And if they tell you they're going to do 100%, run. They're lying. No one does 100%. Even if they're advertising it, they're saying 100% after you put 20% down. That's what they're saying. But you can find out for yourself. Just Google some of these people that's doing this stuff. Same token you're looking at. My 25 years plus experience will help you navigate through the whole process of choosing the right house, rehabbing it, and putting it back together. I got my first start back in 1977. I didn't buy my first house then, but I started listening to books and tapes, and I started with a guy by the name of Carlton Sheets. He was standing on a white boat saying, "Do you want to be rich? Do you want to be successful? Follow me. Do what I do. Real estate's the way to do it." And I listened to it, fell in love with the ideas, but I didn't do anything to almost 3 to 4 years later. But I was listening to all these books and tapes and buying all this stuff, but I didn't buy my first house to 1981. That's just the way it is. So, you're looking at procrastination is the mother of keeping you broke. Same token, I've done a lot of wholesaling, short sales, pre-construction deals, pre-foreclosures. Me and my partners have made a lot of money, and we've done a lot of deals, and we've helped a lot of people. Same token, this was all back in 2006, leading up to 2009, before the real estate market crashed and flipped on its head, and everybody lost a lot of money. That's just what happened. So, my imagine for you, or my hope is that you take heed to what I'm saying and spend the time with me to make sure I navigate you through what you should do, what you should not do to be successful in this particular business. My hope is that you do 10 deals a year, at least, make some money. It's important to remember that when you start, at least when I started, I knew absolutely nothing. All I know is it's a house, brick, frame. I didn't even know the variations of brick and frame, but at least I knew I wanted to make some money. So that's kind of like what and really, to be honest with you, would motivate me to really get up off my butt and take some action. I got laid off my good job in 1981. When I got laid off, went to the unemployment line, got my first check for $92 in 1981. I said, I'm going to make this real estate deal work, because what I'm seeing here is not working. So this is kind of like the first phase of our conversation going into rehabbing. Then I'm going to get into some of the cost estimates and a bunch of other things in later tapes. But this is just to let you know that rehabbing is very profitable. Just know what you're doing. And exercise what I call the ABC. You're going to buy it wholesale, you're going to renovate it, and you're going to have an end buyer to buy it from you, because you're going to create the wow effect.